Hello, my name is Stefan. Welcome to our Remote Access Trojan Development Lecture Series. And in previous lecture, we explored the server-side implementation of our Remote Access Trojan, which allowed us to send commands to a connected client and receive the outputs in the server's terminal. However, we have just two little errors here because one of this here in the client socket, I hope you noticed it when we wrote that code in previous lecture. The thing is, we need to firstly receive and decode here, right? So receive 1024, and after that we will need to decode, and here we just forgot here in our keyboard to write the parentheses after the encode here. So that's it, our program will run successful again. So actually in previous lecture our program ran successful, right? Do you remember that? But our program actually, when I did try it, our program got crashed when we tried to connect with the client. So in this lecture we will also develop a client. So in this lecture we will complete our remote access Trojan implementation by developing the client-side code, and the client will establish a connection with the server, listen for commands, execute them on the client machine, and send the outputs back to the server. Throughout this lecture, we will dissect the client-side code line by line and understand its functionality here. And we will cover concepts such as socket creations, connecting to the server, receiving commands, executing shell commands using the sub process here, sub process module, and sending the outputs back to the server. So by the end of this lecture you will have a complete understanding of how remote access Trojan works from both the server and client perspectives, and you will be equipped with the knowledge to build a functional remote access Trojan that allows remote command execution and output retrieval. And remember, this lecture series focuses on educational purposes only, emphasizing responsible and ethical use of such tools. Always ensure you have a proper authorization before conducting any activities related to hacking, penetration testing, or network security. So let's dive into the client-side code and learn how to develop the essential functionalities of our remote access Trojan. Together we will take another step towards mastering remote access Trojan malware development, and feel free to customize and adapt this script to your lecture style and objectives. And I hope in this lecture you will learn about all the things about client development here. So let's get started. Firstly, we will import the sockets here. So here we will firstly import the socket, and after that we will also import the sub process, as you remember here. So we will execute commands in the client operating system with the sub process libraries modules here, and we will also add if name here, and here main. And after that we will define the server IP and port to connect to. In this case here, attacker IP here is going to be 192. Attacker IP is going to be our cal IP address here. So if config here, and you will see this IP address here. Let's actually use this again. So if config, and here 138, so we can copy this, or here 168.13.138, and that's it. So after that we will also need to use the same port, attacker port here. Port, in this case our attacker port was the 8788, so 8788 here. Also add the 2 dots here, that's it. And here give name main here, and that's it. So here we got also the problem here because we already did use this, so sometimes let's actually invalidate and restart. Sometimes it might happen like this. Here, that's it. And now what we're gonna do is here. And now what we're gonna do is we will also create a target address. So here we will do the attacker address here. It's gonna be the server IP. Oops. It's gonna be attacker IP and attacker port. And after that, we need to create a socket object for the client. In this case, we will the client socket here. It's gonna be socket.socket here. We will use the IP version 4 and socket.af-inet socket.sock stream here. And after that, we need to connect to the server. And in order to do that, we will use client socket again and client socket dot connect, and we will pass the target address as a tuple. Attacker address here. And after that, we will notify to the client. Actually, we don't need to, but for this lecture purposes, we wanna see what is going on the client machine. So we will print that here, of course, with the format client is connected to, and we will also write the attacker address or attacker IP and attacker port. That's it. And after that, we are done. We need to go to while loop here, while true here, and we need to receive the command from the server. Command. I will explain all of the codes in more detail after writing this. Command here and here. Client socket that receive here, and we will enter the how many bytes we wanna buffer size, and we will also decode it. And after that, if our client wanna exit, so if the command was to exit from the server, if our command here dot lower is here exit, then it's gonna be exit. We will break the loop and stop the program. That's it. And here, and after that, here outside the if condition, we will need to create the output variable in order to get output from the command. So output here sub process dot get output and command. That's it. So we will get output from that command and client socket dot send. So we will get that output to our server machine, so attacker machine. And here we will output that encode here, and after that we need to close the client socket. So client socket dot close here. Perfect. And we are done with that client remote access Trojan here. So we can open the this here, or we can also run this program to see if everything is okay. Oh, sorry. Here. Python can't open the file main.py because this is not the main.py here. We will need to use the current file, and here our connection is refused because there is no server rat opened for right now. So we will run the server rat firstly. Oops. And as you can see, listening for all incoming connections. So whenever we gonna run this on the second terminal, actually, instead of running this from the terminal, let's actually run it on the Windows machine later. But firstly, we will do what we will gonna do here. We will explain all of the codes again. So firstly, with this import socket code, we are importing the socket model, which provides a low-level network functionality. And here with sub process, we are importing the sub process module, which allows executing shell commands. And here we are checking if the script is being run directly and not imported as module. So we are defining the IP address of the server to connect to, and you need to change this to the appropriate IP address of yours. And here we also have the attacker port, which is we are specifying the port of the server to connect to, and make sure it matches the port used in the server-side application. and we also have the attacker address. So we are combining the server IP address and port into a tuple, and then we have a client socket variable here, which we are creating a TCP socket object for the client. In this case, the socket AF init is the IP version 4 and socket stream is a TCP here, and we also have the client socket.connect command here, which is we are connecting the client socket to the server, and after that we are printing it. So we are printing a message to indicate that the client is connected to the server, and we are starting an infinite loop for receiving and executing commands from the server. Then we have the command here. We saw client socket receive 1024 and the code here. So with this command, we are receiving the command from the server, and the 1024 parameter specifies the maximum number of bytes to receive. And after that we have if condition here, so we are checking if the command received is to exit. So if so, we are breaking out of the loop, and we just have 3 lines of code left. The first is the output is we are executing the command using the subprocess get output function, and here we are writing output to this variable here, and here we have a client socket. We are sending the output back to the server after encoding it into bytes, and lastly we are closing the client socket here. So now let me actually open my Windows CMD here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna run this program here. And here, as you can see, let's actually make it on the top here and increase the font size. So I copied this client rat here, and now we will run it on our Windows machine here. So here we need to go to Python 3 hacker tools, and we have the client rat.py here, and as you can see here, its size is increased because we write more code compared to previous lectures here. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna touch client here. Oh, sorry, this was not touch here. I think it was a take for the client rat here. Oh no, I think it was a type to get the read text files. And as you can see here, we have the output here. This is just a code that we wrote. This is the exactly same code that we wrote on the PyCharm here. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna run it, right? So Python. So we're gonna run it to the server and see what happens. So Python our client rat, and as you can see, client is connected to this IP address, and let's see what happened. And as you can see, enter the command to execute, and as you can see, it's not quite looking okay here. So we're gonna change this here to this, and after that we need to new line enter command. That's it. And here it will look more presentable now, and we will run it again, clear, and run it again. And as you can see, we are address already in use, and in order to fix that, we need to terminate the previous process using so in order to terminate that, we need to get an process ID here. Netstat will do that work here for us, and as you can see here, we have a lot of information here. So the process IDs and so on. So, but instead, and as you can see here, it's 13. This is the IP address of us, and we can also use different command for terminate or ls off here, ls off here. And as you can see here, so we can also use the you can, in order to fix it, you can also use the different port number for this. And as you can see, it's already fixed. So it might take some 5 or 10 seconds to restart and close the network. Your network driver here will close that connection automatically if it's not working here. And as you can see, we're listening for all incoming client connections. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our Windows machine, and here, and as you can see here, whenever we enter, client is connected to this here. So now we need to enter a command. In this case, let's actually use a dir here, and as you can see here, we got the exactly same output here. So volume in drive C has a no label here, right? And we can also use the widget to download some files from the internet here. Let's actually try that. So in order to do that, we will use the curl here. So now we will go to open our browser, and we will go to some website to find some image, or we can also we can download the entire like applications and so on. So DuckDuckGo here, but in this case, let's actually use that here. Let's actually download the Kali here, or let's go to DuckDuckGo. You have been hacked here, and now we will go to images, and that's it. So we can choose some of the. So you have been hacked, so we can download this here. So we will copy the link, and here this is, as you can see, this is the link. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna write the curl command. So curl our website here, and O here with uppercase O. We will use the hack.jpg here, and as you can see here, it's downloaded now. Now let's use a dir again, and here we got an error here because the broken pipe. So we will run our program again on the, and here, as you can see, let's see what happened. I will run this again. So here we have this. Oops. Let's clear that. And here we're gonna go to here again, and let's put the server up, and as you can see here, it's giving us error again. And I want to also show you how to change the port number of it. And here we can change the port number, for example 19,900 here, and we also need to change it on the client side, 19,900. So 19,900 here, is it same? Yes. So you can change the ports, but you need the exact same ports to if you want your program work. So here in this lecture we covered the client side code explanation, and it establishes a connection with the server, receives command from the server, and executes them using the sub process get output, and sends the output back to the server. So remember to customize the server IP address and port to match your server's details.